Hey y'all, welcome back. I am going to talk a little bit about stats today. I get asked all the time, hey, how's the market? Well, that depends. What type of market are you looking for? Are you looking for residential? Are you looking for commercial? Are you an investor? So these stats are going to go over a little bit about residential and talk to you about different areas of Western North Carolina. So for sellers, this will help you know where we are at in the market as far as how fast your home may potentially sell or sit on the market, kind of average price ranges. If you're looking to buy, especially if you're from out of town and relocating to Western North Carolina, these stats are going to help you make a better decision and make a better choice on what area you would like to land. So I'm not going to go too deep into this today. I might do that later in another video, but we're going to kind of stay in county stats right now. So I'm going to do Asheville, Buncombe County, Haywood County, and Henderson County. Those are some of the bigger counties in our region, and they are all different as far as where they're at in the market. For a while now, we are, for the most part, have been in what we call a neutral market. So it's neither completely seller, completely buyer. And you'll see that as we go through the stats, kind of what that means. Means, higher days on the market, lower prices, lower showings until under contract. And the reason being, we have a ton more inventory now than what we did a year, 2, 3 years ago. There's a lot more options out there for buyers now, so they're taking more time looking at all these houses, better decisions, because they do have more time to look. They do have more options. They want to get the best bang for their buck. So people are saying the market's not good right now. I don't really agree with it. I think the market is kind of getting back to normal, what we were used to, not the 2 days on the market before it goes under contract like we were at years ago. So let's kind of just hop into this now, and I'll go through a lot of these stats. They can get very specific. So I'm not going to really get into specific bedrooms or acreages or what year the house was built, anything like that, because we would be here all day. I'm going to keep it very broad as far as county and just across the board on average of where we're at. So I'm going to start with new listings. The new listings that we're seeing, there's a lot more new listings in and around Asheville, Buncombe County, and then Haywood County, Henderson County is much lower. And actually, Haywood County is only at about 2,000 new listings. Now, let me go back and tell you that these listings are actually from May. I don't have the updated stats for June yet. They're always about a month behind. So this isn't June stats. This was everything from May. So that's kind of what we're looking at from May and new listings. So now we're going to get into month supply. Like I was saying, we have a lot more inventory on the market, so buyers have more to choose from. They're taking longer to pick what they're going to make this huge investment and spend so much money on. So where we're at right now in Asheville and kind of Buncombe County usually runs pretty much the same, because Asheville and Buncombe County, of course, run neck and neck. And that's around about a 7-month inventory. Haywood County is at 9.6. Henderson County is at 7.2. So a little bit more about how this month's supply works. Normally in real estate, if you're below 6 months supply, like more in the 4% range, 4-month supply range, then you're more in a seller's market because there's not a lot of inventory. Buyers don't have as much to choose from. So sellers can kind of ask that little bit more higher price than what we were used to a few years ago. I'm sure a lot of you remember. And so that's kind of the seller's market. So anything around that 6 and over, you're looking into more of a neutral all the way into a buyer's market. So as you can see by those numbers, that's pretty much where we're at right now. Hence my inbox being full of price decreases every single morning when I jump on and get into my email. Sometimes multiple price decreases because the market is changing so much. We just have to keep up with the market and be competitive with those other comparable properties that are currently on the market. Now, average sales price. Let's look at the average there. Before even going into the specific numbers, Asheville is usually always going to be higher than these surrounding counties. So that means that if you are buying, you're relocating here, wondering what areas you can get a little bit cheaper price, not cheaper home, but cheaper price. That means that anywhere outside of Asheville proper, going into those other towns like Weaverville, Leicester, Woodfin, all of those places on the outskirts of Asheville, the farther away you're going to get lower prices. The counties outside of Asheville, so Haywood County, Henderson County, you're going to have lower prices as well. So hopefully that's helpful to you buyers looking to try to figure out where you want to land. So average price in Asheville right now, we're looking at about $512. All of Buncombe County, you're at $574,000. Haywood County is around $400,000. Henderson County is about $475,000. So you can see those are much cheaper areas as far as average prices. Now again, there's going to be homes that are lower than that. Some are higher than that, depending on your criteria and what your needs are. These are just average prices. All right, and we're going to go over to your price per square foot. Kind of goes along with your sales price because you take your price per square foot, multiply that by your square footage, get your sales price for the most part. Other things go into that, but that's a whole nother video. So we're looking at average price per square foot. Asheville is $286. Buncombe County is $307. Haywood County, $262, and Henderson County is $251. Again, that coincides with your sales price, because the higher your price per square foot, it's going to increase that sales price. Now, this is something that kind of goes along more for the sellers, but a little bit for buyers too. We have what's called percentage of original price. So that's the percentage on average that you'll get out of whatever you're listing your house for. So if you list your house for $400,000 and the average percentage for that original price is 93%, that's what you can expect that it would potentially close at. Now that doesn't take into account any negotiations for repairs and seller credits and that sort of thing. So for Asheville and Buncombe County and Henderson County, you're right around 92%, and Haywood County is 91.5%. So for the most part, and other counties, I will tell you as well, like McDowell, those other places, they're all around about the same right now in today's market, that 92 to 93% of original list price. That's helpful when you go to determine what you want to list your home for as well. All right, so this is what I talked a lot about earlier on in the video. We are talking about days on the market. So kind of go back here and tell you, so in 2023, we were at 30, 45 days on the market or less. So homes didn't sit very long. You went on the market, you had tons of showings, you closed. That being said, that gradually increased last year. February, we were already up to about 60, 70 days. All right, so now we're back up to May of this year. So Asheville, 80, Buncombe County, 75, Haywood County is 89, so 3 months. Henderson County, 74. So a lot of people are saying, oh, well, the market's bad. I don't want to list right now because it's going to sit forever on the market. I don't want to do that. That's your prerogative. Those numbers are back to a little bit more of a normal market. That's what we were used to. Houses 60 days on the market, that was actually good. Those, 2 weeks, on the market and going under contract, that wasn't a normal market. So, this is still good. If you want to list your home right now, if you're local or if you own a home here and you want to sell it, like if you had a vacation rental or a second home here and you're thinking of selling and you're kind of wondering if you should sell now, the market's still good. Things are still moving in our area. If you're out of state and your market may be a little different, maybe things aren't moving, but here in Western North Carolina, we're still going. Things are still moving normally. Buyers are still buying, even though interests are kind of all over the place. So this is normal. And again, this is average. This is not for every home. Speaking to sellers, if you do things the right way and do things up front, so pre-listing inspections, getting those big line items taken care of if there's any issues, so HVAC, plumbing, electric, roof, and before you go on the market, that's going to help you dramatically. Listing your property per what the market says and what your house is. Listing it right from day one is going to help you dramatically as well. This is going to help your home sell faster and probably faster than the average day on the market. So if you wanted to sell faster, those are just some points that you may want to think about and maybe take care of before you list, because that will help you sell faster and prevent you from having to renegotiate during, or potentially help you not have to renegotiate different those high price items during your due diligence period. All right, shows to pending. This is your tours of the home. This is buyers coming in, taking a look at your home. So on average, before, 2023, 2024, we would have 10 showings in a day, 2 days, and it would be under contract. That's not the case anymore. So average shows to under contract now for everybody across the board, even outside of the counties that I'm talking about, we're about 12 shows to under contract. So to get an idea how busy you're going to be and how often you're going to have to leave your house, keep your house clean while you're on the market. If average days on the market, say is 60 days, and it's 12 showings until under contract, you're only looking at about 6 showings per month. Now, granted, most of those usually happen within the first 2 weeks because that's your crucial time. That's when your most qualified buyers are going to be looking and you're going to get the most interest. So yeah, those are the main points that I wanted to make as far as stats. Again, we can go much deeper into this if, we get into, different areas of those counties. We can even bring it down further into your specific home, that is bedrooms, your lot size, those types of things. I'm not going to get into that right now and may do it in another video. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned or leave a comment. I'm happy to answer and do those very specific questions that you have. Just let me know your interest, if you're a buyer or seller, and how I can help. I'm so glad We are still going strong here in Western North Carolina because I know some other areas are not. But let me know if you have any questions. Happy to help. Thanks for being here. See you next time.